All right, guys, this is a video I wanted to do earlier in the week, but I was still waiting for a few parts to come in. Now they have. So this is my video about upgrade parts for the 1/1000 scale USS Enterprise as seen in Star Trek Discovery. Now, first of all, this is a good-looking ship. You really don't need upgrades to this. This is this model built completely stock. The stock kit, the stock lighting, the stock decals. The lighting and the decals you do have to buy separately, but it builds up wonderfully. You don't really need much as far as add-ons, but add-ons can be kind of fun. They can make some things easier or better or more accurate. So there were a couple things that definitely could have been improved in the model. The first is the fact that you have to frost a lot of these clear parts. Having to frost this dome, frost this big window, and frost the sensor dome underneath. I think they look good frosted, but the first upgrade set we're going to look at does something better there. The other thing, the only inaccuracy on the Discovery Enterprise is this. In the show, it does not actually have this huge window. What it has is it has a flat surface that goes up to a small window that sits right in front of the bridge. And sometimes in productions, things just change. So round 2 probably had an initial design where it was a big window like this. Then they changed it to be the different bridge. But that does leave this window being fairly inaccurate to what ended up on the show. The last thing that definitely could have been better is just these rear nacelle end caps. They do it all in a single clear part, and then you kind of end up scratching off those dots and circles to get to light through. And let's take a look at that effect. It looks okay. But if you get a really good close look there, you could tell it really is not that great of a job kind of scratching those little pinpricks into all of those little holes. All right, so here's our first set of upgrade parts. Okay, so this is the 1/1000th Discovery Enterprise Upgrade Kit by ModelWorks at modelworkshop.com. Now, this is actually a really neat set. So I believe these are 3D printed on a resin printer. And this is a new replacement end cap that actually has all of those holes opened up from the get-go. So you can see wonderfully clear, perfect little holes all the way through this end cap. So let's compare it to the kit part. So you see the kit part is done in clear. So you light it up, then you scratch or scrape out those holes to let the light through. This being opaque means you don't have to do nearly as much paint to light block it, and you get these really perfect holes right from the beginning. So this is an absolutely wonderful upgrade to make that go a lot easier. And you can see it has the cutouts for the blue lights that should be on the top and the bottom there. And yeah, you can see wonderful detail. It's going to fit in just the way the kit piece would. It looks like the grooves are a little bit bigger, but that is a wonderful little addition there. So this is going to make lighting those rear end caps much, much easier. So that's a big win. The next part we can look at is this. So this is a bridge insert for the Enterprise. So you can see you do have a little chair there, you have the railings, and you have this window the way it should be with a flat surface going back to a window in front of the bridge. this can give you an idea of what it will look like to actually sit it in and kind of replace that big window. Now, if you don't want the bridge to show, they give you this clear part that can go up underneath that dome. So now you don't really have to frost it, or you can frost it a lot less, and you won't have just a clear window into the middle of the ship. You'll have something with a little bit of detail underneath it. Now, I think you're still going to need this clear part from the kit because it provides a lot of the windows. It provides the clear dome that you'll look through to see the bridge, or this part if you just choose to use it. So this, you could just put the bridge underneath this. But then you'd be back to the same point where you have this really big window, which is not accurate. So I think what I'm going to have to try and do is I'm going to have to try and use an X-Acto, just with a lot of patience and a very sharp blade, to carve out and remove this window. That way I still have these windows to fill out the spots near the bridge, and this dome to go across the top, but still get that nice kind of depth towards that bridge window using this insert. So very excited to get this part to kind of add a little bit to the bridge there. On the bottom of the saucer, you once again get a little bit of an insert, so you no longer have to have just a frosted piece. You can have a little bit of depth behind that clear dome. Here's the next upgrade from this upgrade kit. This is our kit deflector and deflector housing. This is the deflector housing in the upgrade kit. So first thing is you get a clear part, so you can stick an LED there and have a little bit of light behind the deflector dish. Light that up nice and blue to cast some light on the deflector. But then the next thing is you get a deflector dish with a lot more detail. Yeah, this 3D printing is really just exceptional. Once again, compare the kit part and compare that upgrade replacement, a ton more detail. So that's going to be real fun. A little bit of light behind it, lighted up blue, a lot more detail. Once again, this upgrade kit just seems fantastic. The last couple parts of the upgrade kit, I don't think they're as important. This is the kit impulse engine clear part. As you can see, it's nice. Looks a little bit frosted, a little bit of a texture to it. This is the upgrade kit impulse engine piece. So you can see very defined pattern, a lot of detail behind it. But overall, I don't really think this will be nearly as impactful as the other parts in the upgrade kit. And the last part in the upgrade kit is a replacement set of windows for this long ring of lights at the front of the Discovery. Once again, I don't know that I'm going to use this part. I felt that this solution worked out pretty well. I felt having that clear part back there worked out just fine. So I don't really think I'm going to use this replacement part. I guess it does add a little bit of depth, and it adds a few of kind of the ridges and kind of segmentation that it has on the studio model. All right. So this upgrade kit, once again, it comes with probably my favorite parts, which are the replacement end caps for the backs of the nacelles that you can just paint the right color and not have to worry about scratching or drilling through to get the holes in the right place. It comes with some inserts to go underneath the clear domes on both the top and bottom of the saucer, so you have a little bit of depth and not just a frosted piece. You get a bridge to go under the dome and a replacement to make this much more accurate to the show. You get a deflector upgrade. You get a clear part to help light behind the deflector. And then you also get replacement impulse engine grills and an alternate kind of ring of lights for the saucer. So once again, you don't really need these, but I think they're going to add a lot to this model as I build it the second time around. All right, so here's the next upgrade part I have. Once again, same company. This is ModelWorks, modelworksworkshop.com, and this is a shuttle bay for the USS Enterprise. So just like in the actual model kit, you get a clear part for the back deck. That way you can light it up, kind of scratch off some of the paint to have the landing lights light up for you. But you can tell this is not just a flat piece of plastic. It actually does have some of that detail molded into it. So this is the floor of our shuttle bay. And this is the ceiling of the shuttle bay. Once again, wonderful printing. I haven't cleaned any of this up. I just opened this package up from the mail. So you can see that's really exceptional. You'll be able to put some light right above it and have it lighted up from above. All right, so let's get an idea of what this will look like. So we have our shuttle bay floor. We have the sides and the roof, and then you have this part that will go right back behind it to give it a little bit of depth. All right, and that's what you're going to be able to see when you look inside my next build of the USS Enterprise. All right, so you get that really nicely detailed shuttle bay. You also get a set of decals to provide all the little landing structures there. But you also get tiny little shuttles. So you get 4 of these Discovery-style Starfleet shuttles. That's some really nice little printing. 2 of them have already come off kind of the 3D printing supports. So here is what they look like. Really, there won't be much cleaning up on these at all. But that'd be really nice to have tiny little shuttles in my shuttle bay. All right, now there's a little bit of modification that you're gonna have to do to get this to fit. There's a few kind of braces right in here that you have to cut, but that's really simple. I just used my snips here just a moment ago. I haven't cleaned it up much, but I just cut those out. And then you're just going to be able to place the shuttle bay right inside. Yeah, I was really kind of curious how well this would fit, but you can see that looks good. Now, it looks like the back part of the shuttle bay, that may need to be trimmed because as that fits in, it looks like it's going to interfere with this support for the pylons. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take a coping saw and just cut a portion of this off so that it fits in about like that. But I really think this is going to add something special to my USS Enterprise build. Now the other upgrade that I'm going to do on this next build is I'm not going to be using the Aztec decals. I'm going to paint the Aztecs myself. So to aid me in that, I have from Aztec Dummy, the 1/1000 scale Piker Prize masking set. All right, I picked these up from culttvman.com, Cult TV Man Hobby Shop. Not the first time I've bought from them, but I bought these, I think, on a Friday, and I had them on Tuesday or Wednesday of the next week. Cult TV Man is also where I bought this Discovery Enterprise I'll be building. Wonderful service, really quick for them to get things out the door on their way to you, and just, you know, a great place to get the aftermarket parts. There were a couple different masking sets I was looking at, but the fact that this one was in stock at Cult TV Man made a big difference. I just knew it would be that quick and easy to get it. Also, you know, I've used Aztec dummy masks before when I did a 1/350th NX01. I used Aztec dummy masks and just had a wonderful result. So I'm glad to be using Aztec dummy masks again. Now, oddly enough, what I am most excited about is this. So this part of the masking set are masks for all of the windows for the USS Enterprise. Now, if you watched my build video of this kit, because I did not have window masks, I painted most of the parts separately, then put the windows in, and then assembled it, which is not my favorite way to build. My favorite way is to leave the plastic really bare from the outside, mask the windows. That way you can really get some really nice seams. You can sand the heck out of the seams, and then you can airbrush the entire thing. So having this little set of masks for all the windows really makes my day. The next thing this mask set has is it has masks for things like the blue lights that go along the nacelles. It has masks for all the darker parts of the ship. So those masks are for things like this section. You can see kind of this darker, strong back part. There's masks for those. There's masks for all of these darker rings. Here are the masks for all of those rings. Some more of the darker parts. And of course, what we have here are all of the saucer pie wedges for the Aztecs. And you'll be able to see a lot of this better on the instruction sheet. Or Aztec Dummy does have a channel. The guy's name is Lou. He has a channel here on YouTube where he does a full build using his masks on the USS Enterprise. But you can kind of see here how in depth it is. Here's an interesting thing. He gives you all the little masks for that rear end cap. We won't need that since we've got that cool upgrade part. But you can kind of see all the cool little things you can mask off with it. That's an example right there of all the different rings and darker parts that you can mask off and get different shades of. Now, the one thing that threw me off is when I opened it up, I thought I only had like the top saucer worth of Aztecs. It only looked like it was one complete circle. And that's because you do the positive of the pie slice on one part, then you take those negative parts and make the next pie slice next to it. So every pie slice on the masking frisket actually makes up 2 pie slices on the model. So you do get the top and the bottom. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of is there's no real specific masks for things like the nacelles and the engineering section and the neck and the pylons. Not like you do on the saucer where you get to mask off the entire thing and airbrush it at once. He has kind of reusable stencils for those parts. So you get 2 long stencils, 2 short stencils, and the idea is you kind of lay it down over the nacelle, airbrush it, move it, airbrush it again, move it to the bottom, airbrush it again, and kind of overlap the pattern a couple times to get the intricate design. I've never done a masking set like that. I've always done the masking sets where you have specific parts for pretty much every inch of the model. So this will be a different experience. But if you look at his video, his ship turns out looking just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to do it his way and see how it turns out. All right, so there you have it. I've built the entire ship before using the decal and the lighting set. Now I'm going to build it and make it a little bit more my own with kind of these upgrade parts, my own paint job, my own lights. And you know, it probably won't be the last time I build this model. This Discovery style USS Enterprise is such a fun and well built kit. I can see myself building this a couple more times, kind of changing up the registry, making it different ships across the fleet. But stay tuned. We're going to use these upgrade parts in the build of the USS Enterprise Mark II.